In 1997, a killer known as the Fisherman terrorized four teens who caused an accident and left him for dead in the small town of Southport, which also terrorized the town as he was at it. But it birthed a movie franchise in 2025. We're here to talk about I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't know if this is a reboot, rebirth, sequel, whatever you want to call it. We got the original, got some original cast members, we got some new cast member all blended here. This is your boy Finding J, minor league films. Hit that like button, that sub button. Plenty of videos coming to you. We actually saw the original the other day, and we did a review on that. It should go the same day as this one. So if you want to take a venture back in time, 1997, one of the first kind of horror movies I really seen. I think I was really young at the time. But yeah, Babies came off the heels of Scream, and they're pulling a Scream in this one. They blended the old, they blended the new, and they're doing it all together. So we'll see how that pans out. We'll get to the review here, but yeah, let's check it out. So we got a new cast here. Madison Klein playing Danica, Chase Sweet Wonders playing Ava. We got Jonah Hauer-King playing Milo, and my boy Tyreek Withers, who's in Jordan Peele's new Him. He's playing Teddy here, and also Sarah Pigeon, the fifth member. We only had four in the original, playing Stevie. Also bring back Freddie Prinze Jr., Jennifer Love Hewitt. That's the old right there, and the director is Jennifer Caton Robinson, who wrote Thor: Love and Thunder. She didn't direct that, but she's doing both here. So it's a horror movie, man. You know how we love them. It's the summertime. Anything goes. I wasn't too excited for this when I seen the trailer, but I said, hey, man, give me some kills. Give my boy back to Fisherman. Let's see what he can do. He's got some new equipment here. He's bringing out some new stuff. He's going to get these new kills off. It's going to be exciting. Well, we're here to talk about it. So basically, the movie starts off. Danica, played by Madison Klein, and Teddy, played by Tyreek Withers. They're getting engaged. They're it's basically kind of like a little reunion. In the old one, they're kind of graduating high school. In this one, they seem a little older. They're more so young adults, and this is, like I said, based off a young adults novel. So, but yeah, they're getting engaged here, and they say, hey man, some old friends. We got all of us back together. We're not really together that often. We also see Stevie, who we haven't seen in a while since high school. She has a tragic happen with her family, all that. But yeah, so let's all go out. We'll watch the fireworks. It's July 4th. Knock on wood timing there, just like in the original. July 4th, let's go see some fireworks and hang out. Go to do that. Unfortunately for them, an accident happens, and they say, hey man, look, we got a lot riding on this. We're kind of at fault here. Are they not at fault? That's for you to decide when you see the movie and see the accident. Big say. So in the original one, and I'll talk about this a little bit for. In the original one, they very much were at fault. Basically, they ran over a guy, which he should have been dead when they ran him over. We talked about this in the other review, but they hit him really hard. They run him over. Found out he's still kind of alive, but they say, hey, we're dusting our hands up. We're throwing him in the river, and we are very much, I don't want to say they deserve what happens to them in the original, but they deserve to face some consequences. In this one, it's a little bit debatable. They do change it up. I won't say exactly what happens, but it's a little bit of a change. One of our first major changes here. But from there, somebody feels they're responsible because about a year after the event, they say, "Hey, we call the police. We wipe our hands of it." Madison Klein, scared that Danica, gets a letter that happens to say, "I know what you did last summer." Okay, man. So a lot of elements here to play. One, I do like these actors. Madison Klein here. We all know her. She's been a lot of stuff at this point. So I do like her. Tyreek Withers was kind of my guy. I was looking forward to coming in, and I think he's really good in this. He's probably my favorite character, to be honest, and he's very realistic here. So his reactions, I love it. So he's probably my favorite character in here. But this cast, I do like. There's some new elements in here. There's a podcaster in here who's investigating the original. She does some stuff there. So kind of bringing in a kind of a new modern age to it, which for some parts it helps in this movie to kind of update it. But in other parts, it's hard to get away with stuff when you got cameras, cell phones, especially stuff that happens in public. The old one very much felt like, it's 1997. There's not a camera. There's not people all places. This is a small town. You got to get away with some stuff. And this one, it's like, all right, man, I don't know how you're doing all this. We get the serial killer who's also, he can hack. He can do all kinds of stuff in this. And also there's some twists and turns here that, we'll talk about later. It's going to be really hard for me not to spoil this because this movie gets absolutely crazy. But I'm going to get through it, and we will do a spoiler review later. But again, let me talk about what we have here. So Madison Klein, she goes back. We fast forward a little bit when she gets this letter. The screw has kind of broken up. It's caused some tragicness, and I think they do well with the old one where it caused everybody some kind of PTSD. They have a hard time dealing with it. It's kind of the same here, a little bit different, but kind of the same as this crew kind of breaks up and really doesn't see each other because we're dealing with this traumatic event. So as the client gets this letter, says, "Hey man, who wrote this? We got to get the crew back together. We got to figure it out because we feel like it's one of us playing a joke. Obviously, it's really none of them." So basically, and the killer shows back up and gets doing to what he's doing, and now this crew is stuck back together to figure it out. I would say some of the positives in here. I think they kind of updated the killer and made him a little more, a little more fun. I say this movie, while it's horror, mystery, thriller categorized, the one thing I was looking for is I would say, hey man, the old one was a lot of fun. It felt more like a comedy horror or a horror comedy. This one, it kind of feels the same. I get a lot of chuckles and laughs, and I saw one of my buddies. Um, we got a lot of chuckles and laughs out of this. I'd say at parts it was fun, but it is very silly. We got a killer with absolute superpowers. He could disappear. He's in and out in an instant. He'll slash you. You turn, you look back, he'll disappear. He'll get the drop on you. If you get the drop on him, you might hit him, but you will not get the better of him, and he can be anywhere at any time and really do anything. It's very much one of those where it is very silly how he is doing all this, the stuff he goes through. It's like, come on, man. Like these dudes really don't have a chance here because this killer really has absolute superpowers. Another thing you expect in this movie, throwbacks galore. Now I talked about it. Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in here, Jennifer Love Hewitt's in here. That's kind of the old mixed in here, so they're in here. But there is a lot of throwbacks. Come on, they go back to the store that Helen was killed at, which is absolutely ridiculous because they just basically her and her sister. Again, this is a spoiler for the original, but it's 30 years old. What can I tell you? Her and her sister got murdered basically at the store. They ain't changed nothing in that store. They redid a couple things. They still have the mannequins, and that was one of the favorite scenes in the old one. They still got the mannequins in there, still wrapped in plastic, all that. So I thought that was pretty silly. But there are references. There's a Bahamas reference, if you know that from the sequel. You got store, you got cameos. They kind of throw it all back in here for you and serve it up and say, hey, man, you remember this? You remember this? So I know this was going for what Scream did in blending the original. Even the original kind of went for what Scream doing. It was kind of going off the success of that. It's not Scream, man. Scream takes the old, takes the new, blends it, really focuses in on these characters and kind of just make a pretty fun, kind of updated horror movie. Now, The Fisherman is not Ghostface. Ghostface is a legendary slasher. The Fisherman, people really don't know about The Fisherman unless you're older and you've seen this. If I brought it up to somebody up and coming and who watch horror movies and like, I don't know, 25 years old, they'd be like, who is The Fisherman? I've never seen this dude before, and this will all be new to them. So he does not have the aura that Ghostface has. He's not calling you on the phone, sweet talking you before he kills you. He just basically shows up and gets it done. I think too. So, like I said, people get the drop on the killer. They can't really kill him. Also, well, let me start here. The security in this movie, people's home security, the places they go, kind of the wherewithal of what's around you, there's none in here. This killer can go anywhere. He can break in anybody's place. He's a tech guru. He can mess with your lights. He can break in. He can do all of that, which at that point it really just gets silly. So and I'm like, man, even at the point where they're like, hey, like we get this guy's terrorizing you. And what's going on kind of in this town is they're not really acknowledging what happened in the original because ever since then, investors have come in, they bought out the town. They're really trying to, make it into, they call it the Hamptons of the South. They're really trying to make it into this big property place where it's a lot of money coming in, a lot of tourism. There's a nice, boat area where, people go out and they have cruises and take them out for the summer and yachts and all that. So the town itself is trying to kind of cover it up. So they're not really helping these kids out or really young adults. They're kind of like, hey, you're on your own. We can't really help you. But again, police are useless. The town is useless. And even these characters are useless in the way the, the killer can just get after them. And they just put themselves in bad situations, which is a flaw in this movie that I don't really like. But yeah, I think probably what you want to know is like, there's some fun in this movie. There's some good parts, and I think if you see this with a crowd, you'll have a decent time in here. But that goes on for about the first 2/3 of the movie. The last third of this movie is what bad movies are made of. So much so that going into that last third, I'm like, okay, it's got its positive, it's got its negative. It's not great, but it's all right. It's okay. I'm entertaining myself, and this movie's keep giving enough to get me, to keep me entertained. This last third is some of the worst writing I've ever seen. Some of the worst um, kills I've ever seen. Some of the worst action I've ever seen. It is horror. Some of the worst decision making I've ever seen of stuff that makes no sense. And I'll tell you this: the reason I talked about this old stuff where people can kind of get away with stuff. This killer is killing people and stringing them up in the middle of town. I'm talking like he's pulling the saw. He's pulling this out his ass where he can tie people. He hangs a girl from like by her neck early in this movie, puts her up in the middle, right in the main street of town where the parade happens. Where it's like somebody would have had to see this, and so much crazy so that this girl, of course, he slashed and dashed her up to the point where the police are like, oh, that's the suicide. She just hung herself and jumped off the roof. Like that's the kind of silliness you get in. That's very early on, but the absolute silliness you get later when they bring all these characters back and they bring the old characters back, it is so ridiculous. There's some scenes in this movie, man. Again, they have the killer dead to rights. They can't get rid of him. This man can hide in plain sight. It's so funny. So one of the characters, Teddy, played by Tyreek, his family is kind of well off. So he has this gigantic house, of course. Bro, he's got a lair, like a literal lair that leads to his dock, where it is the perfect place. He got a statue that's sitting there all in shadow. There's no lights on the statue, just kind of this. It feels like you're gonna walk into like I don't know, a movie where there's some kind of ritual cult. It's like a ritual cult like layer in here where the killer could be like, damn, that's a great place to hide because you can't see me. So much so that he actually walks past the killer and don't even notice he's there in plain sight. That is how silly this gets, man. Again, man, this the last third of this movie is what bad movies are made of, and I almost say like go see it just for that part because it's so silly and ridiculous. I don't even know how to explain it. Like I gotta talk about this in spoiler fashion because there's just so much here to be spoiled that I don't want to ruin because people haven't seen the movie yet. I will say this: Madison Klein, one of my favorite young up and coming actresses. I don't like her in this movie. They very much make her an airhead, kind of just a typical movie white girl, barely paying attention at the time. Had a time she's high on Xanax, not really aware of her surroundings, just puts herself in danger. Don't like what they do with her character is, and she's really not the lead here. Your more lead is Chase Sue Wonders, who plays Ava. We must so follow her. She's the one who tracks down Julie from the original and says, "Hey, like we need your help." She's the one kind of putting these pieces together. She's kind of our catalyst here that pushes this movie through. Um, Tyreek Withers very much gave me Channing Tatum vibes in this. Just his acting and his mannerisms very much felt that, but he was maybe the most fun character in this movie. He's having a good time with it. I do like what they do with him for the most part. Jonah Hauer-King, he's one of our stars here, but he's not really. He doesn't have any screen presence. And again, I don't blame none of these actors. I really blame the writing and direction in this movie because I think it's horrific. But I don't blame any of them. But he's really non-existent. He plays Milo, so he's one of your main four. And then Sarah Pigeon, who plays Stevie, the fifth friend. She's kind of around sometimes. She's not around, but she's okay in this too. I like this. I like this cast. I just wish they gave better material for them to work with. But again, this movie goes off the rails, and like I said, that final third, it's worth going to see just to see how ridiculous it is. Please pay bottom dollar, or even I'd even say find other sources to watch this movie, but it would be worth it for that. Um, Leaving out theater, man, it's this is one of those movies where, and I'll say this: you may not get your money's worth in the theater, but you're gonna get your money's worth talking about this after. I cannot wait till Scotty sees this and we can talk about this after because it's gonna be so much fun because there's so much ridiculous here. Like I said, the movie looks good. I think it looks good. I think the kills that something they brought back from the original is killing people who ain't got nothing to do with the actual murder. I remember in the old when we talked about Max, he's just a friend and they kill him for no reason. There is about 15 people in this movie who get the axe because they're or just there. They're just working, they're just at their jobs, and they ain't got nothing to do with this and absolutely get the axe. It's like, are you focused on these? Because in the old one, it felt like maybe one or two people got it. One guy who deserved it. I don't say that in the original, but But only a couple people got it. In this movie, a lot of people get killed. It very much reminded me of the second I Know What You Did Last Summer. You've seen that, where he's just killing anybody who crosses his path, and they kind of do that here. Overall, man, cool cameos that come in if you are a big fan of it. For me, I can take him or leave it. I like that the original cast is here. I was hoping it would give me more of what Scream did. Unfortunately, it does not do that. I mean, I did get this cool little postcards. It gave kind of us a kind of four of these to open this up here. You can kind of see them, but kind of to play with here. So that was cool to get that, I guess. But this movie just I knew it was going to be bad, and in rating, Rotten Tomatoes right now, 38% critic score, which I'm closer to that. 71% audience score, so some people are liking it. Maybe that's you. They're saying at least it's all right. If I'm giving a rating, this is one of the worst I've seen in 2025. For me, this is a complete strikeout. Strikeout, man, if you really want to see this, go see it. Like I said, if you like bad movies, you will have fun with this. But it's nothing to write home about. It is a waste, and it is very forgettable. And even to they hint at another there is actually a post credit scene where they bring back another cameo. So stay for that. It comes right after, so it's not like Marvel. It's at the end of the credits, but they do that to hint at somewhat of a sequel coming here. But again, man, it's silly. People should die that don't. Like everybody, it feels like everybody in this movie has plot armor. Even the killer has plot armor. These characters have plot armor. They all should really be dead here or there. And it has a twist in it, man. That ugh, it's so not believable. And it came early in the movie where there's a character that kind of like recognizes someone, and it's just like, oh, like I'm not buying that from where the series has gone. I get it, he may be rebooting this, the old stuff may not count, but it didn't leave me believing that twist was actually realistic. But yeah, I will say we'll talk about this a lot. We got to spoil this, but again, it's a strikeout for me. This is not a good movie by any means and stretch, but it was a lot of fun to talk about. So you got your money's worth there. Like I said, great, go watch this, pay as cheaply as possible, and go with some friends, grab beers after, and just have fun talking about this because it is silly, but you're gonna be able to talk about this movie for 2-3 hours. Like I'm telling you, there's so much comes in this. You're gonna really be up at night and be like, man, I forgot that happened. Calls like, yo, you remember that? Like it is so silly. But that is I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025. You said the horror movies are rolling. We did talk about the original that I liked a lot better than this. I had a lot of fun with that, and it actually reminded me of what that movie was and why it was so popular. This one, don't think it'll even touch that, even though the old one was rated like 41 on Rotten Tomatoes. So maybe people ain't like that either. Maybe it's just me that had fun with that one, but this one is right on mark with that critic score. So definitely, you want to go see it, go see it. But like I said, pay cheap as possible. Talk about it with some friends out there, have a good time. And that being me, like I said, I came to the Sky Season this week, talk about it. But that's all I got. It's Byron Lee Films here. Man, if I missed something, tell me about it in the comments. Read down low. I Know you last number 2025, not hidden for me. But talk about that original. A lot of stuff coming down the line. I think we got Fantastic Four coming out next weekend. But again, we talk about horror movies. We also have some of our worst sequels to come out, which will feature one of the movies from the original franchise. So that video will be dropping soon. Make sure you check that out. But yeah, like the video, all that stuff. Can't wait to get back and talk about this because me and Scotty are you're gonna have such a fun time talking about this. So maybe be on the lookout for that. Other than subscribe, like Miley Films at all places except TikTok, which is Kuronocomics. So check us out there. But Superman videos drop. We've had a guest on here recently trying to get more comic stuff. A lot of trailers have dropped, so I'm going to talk about those and get those in here. But want to do all that in due time. But yeah, check it out. Sub to the channel, all that good stuff. Your boy Flynet Jay will catch you next time.